Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin and today we are going to be looking into the different shifts, transformations, and unexpected changes on their way in for you within these next few months and how you can understand them better, brace them better, and stand stronger within them. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back my beautiful kindred spirits and everyone new who is joining in for the very first time. If this is your first time and you're curious about this space, I do lots of different types of readings here for friendship, spirituality, for love, for career, and for just your own transformational growth like this reading here today. If that's something that you're interested in or you want to play around with this space, then definitely feel free to subscribe or consider subscribing and joining this kindred spirit community. But today we are going to be looking into and unveiling the shifts and changes that are on their way in for you that are going to be very transformative. We just went through the lunar eclipse recently in Taurus, as of when at least I am posting this, although this may resonate way beyond then, but that's just inspired me to look into the shifts and changes that are on their way in for you after this portal is kind of opened, but it may be different for each of you. So we're going to see each of the piles are very unique and they all are very transformative and very impactful. So definitely take your time choosing which piles for you, and you can choose more than one as well. But before we really start diving into these piles, I do want to offer you some offerings. So if you haven't seen the offerings that I provide, then this is a space where you can kind of check them out. I currently have Yule spell and ritual paper out for the winter solstice. So if you want to create some magic with some more eco-friendly materials, then definitely check those out. There are only 6 sets available, so definitely jump on it so I can get it to you by the solstice. And then there's also the snail mail readings that I provide. I also want to change these up in the new year, so stay tuned for those. But we do have some snail mail readings still available as well, so check those out too, as those are really wonderful, treasured little packages and spaces, and I put so much love into both of these types of offerings. So if you're interested in either of those different offerings or other offerings that I may provide in the future, then definitely check that out down below, and I have a lot more reviews and information on all of those on my Instagram as well. So if that's something you want to check out, go ahead and check it out. I appreciate all the support and me being able to support you. It's a wonderful energy exchange. So thank you to everyone who has been so supportive so far, especially through this holiday season. And with all of that said, let's go ahead and start looking at these piles. So I only have 3 piles here. I wanted to keep it simple, so we just have 3 crystals. So for pile number 1, we have this very heavy crystal of the fire agate. It's a little bit glary here, but there is a fire agate here. It's got all these little rivets and ribbons. Here's the back side. That is pile number 1. Then for pile number 2 here, we have this piece of selenite, palm stone. It shines, it has this little break point in it right here with this mandala. This is the back side. So that is pile number 2. And then lastly for pile number 3 here, we have this crystal, very shiny and glittery cluster of amethyst. So that is pile number 3. So before you figure out which pile or piles is for you, let's go ahead and take a deep grounding breath here together so you can really cleanse, understand your intuition, and connect with each of the piles. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose 1 pile, 2 piles, all 3 piles, choose a pile, flip-flop, change your mind, whatever really works for you. There's really no rule book to this. All the timestamps will be down below as well as in the description and in the chapter marks. And truly, thank you to everyone who has been helping me within this space through the holiday shipping madness and being so patient and lovely with the offerings that I provide. I appreciate appreciate you. I see you, and I appreciate that you're helping me in supporting and lifting this space so that I can continue to create this space for you and make this continue to happen. So thank you to everyone on that side, and thank you also for supporting me through my Instagram and just connecting with me there. It's a wonderful little community as well. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello Group 1, if you've decided to choose this giant piece of fire agate, then this is the pile for you. Today we are going to be looking into the unexpected changes and shifts and transformations on their way in for you and how they're going to be affecting you as we go through these next few months. So we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as several different oracle decks, which I'll have listed down below in the description, and we're going to be using the Cosmic Slumber Tarot today. So if you are settled, have a cozy space, you're ready to go, you're feeling it, then let's go ahead and get started. So Group 1, feel free to send your energy in through time and space, but Group 1, we're looking for any unexpected changes and shifts coming in for Group 1. All right, so first off, we have the King of Torches. A very fiery king. They have a lot of inspiration, a lot of goals, a lot of determination, a bit of a lot of force, but I feel like they wield it really, really well. But let's go ahead and see what else there is coming in. So far, there's quite a fast energy, a very inspired energy. We also have the Tower. The Tower basically is this reading. It represents unexpected changes, shifts, foundation shifting, and usually things, that have to do with a foundational shift, something that's like a core belief or something that's very deeply rooted within your psyche, within your consciousness, within who you are, that may be shifting, changing, and it's usually due to something that isn't under your control. So this is about how you're going to see that situation, right? Where you're even looking with this King of Torches at this situation, and I feel like you're almost planning or bracing for it. So sometimes it's unexpected, but I feel like you kind of already felt this transformational shift, possibly intuitively, as we've been heading towards this tower. And seeing as, at least when I am filming this, we are just heading out of Scorpio season. Scorpio season was all about transformational shifts. So maybe you were already bracing one and then it just didn't happen, and this is the delayed effect. So it may still be coming in for you. Let's see what else there is coming in for you, Group 1. What else do we need to know for Group 1? Feel free to send your energy in. It definitely helps. Okay, so we have Justice showing up here as well. Justice talks about sometimes it can be a lot about balance, but I also think that where Temperance has more to do with balance, in this case I feel like it's more so about the consequences to your actions or the consequence to this shift, and not necessarily consequences that are like I said, I feel like it's not something you necessarily brought upon yourself, but just in general, bigger societal reasons, bigger shifts were happening around you that caused this to tumble, that caused this foundational core belief to tumble, this part about yourself to tumble, and this is the consequence to that, but it's not necessarily a consequence in because of your behavior, but more so just because that's, to balance out the universe, this is the equal reaction to it. Sorry about the blur. Sometimes that does come and go. This camera's not always the best at focusing, but the words are still there. So where do we want to head? Okay, so let's go ahead and look into a couple more things before we really start wrapping into the deeper sides of this reading. And today I'm actually going to do something a little bit different with the charms. If you're normally watching these videos and you're not new to this space and this community here, I usually just do all of the cards and then pull the charms afterwards with all the cards removed. But this time I'm going to cast on the cards and see how that goes. I've not done that on my channel before, although it is a practice I do myself. So I want to see some deeper information. We really want to go into what this core belief is, how it's going to affect you, and how you can expect this unexpected in a way that doesn't blindside you. So let's get some more information on what this change is. So we have the woman showing up here. It doesn't necessarily have to mean female. It can just be more femme energy, or the way that you present yourself, or just how you see femininity in general. But we do have here number 29 as well as the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords has come up in like almost every reading I've done recently. So one of you definitely needs that energy to come through of that Ace of Swords, that way of communicating to start a conversation. So if there was a conversation that needs to be had recently, this is about needing to start that conversation possibly with someone who's more on the feminine line within your life. So that could be a friend, a family member, with yourself. But that is showing up here. It also isn't the more working person here, where this person is more so like they've kind of got their stuff together, which is making me think again of that tower, right? Like, I feel like you finally got all your stuff together, right? You built this whole tower, but you didn't realize it was leaning. You didn't realize that it wasn't built under a really nice structure. So that's going to be shifting. I feel like there's also this, like, I feel like when I look at this quilt, right, it's also making me think it's maybe something more on an ancestral level, a family level, or something like, that's built through generations. So possibly generationally, something that's going to be shifting, a core belief, a change there, something on a bigger societal level possibly, because the quilt, right, it makes me think of like a grandmother who built that sewed a quilt for you, or sewed like this heirloom, this inheritance, right? And sometimes we get inherited beliefs from our families, from our friends, from our the people that we surround ourselves, but just generationally, sometimes our family can bring us trauma, but they can also bring us really wonderful things too. So I think you're going to get this shift where you're going to realize that maybe you don't believe something that you've always been grown up to believe, and that's going to seem maybe a little scary, a little bit off kilter, right? You're basically taking something and you're going to finally see the consequences to maybe the actions that those in the past have been doing, and maybe you're ready to make a shift, you're ready to change, you're ready to become your own leader, speak your own voice against, and I'm even going to pick this up here, the king here, right? They've got like all this fire against them, they've got all these meteors coming at them, but they're still bracing the storm really, really well. So I think that even if you're going to speak up about this generational shift and this belief system, this core belief that's going to be shifting and changing, I think that you're ready to brace that storm. I think you're ready once you've kind of opened yourself up to that and opened yourself up to the wound that may even be there. It may be that you're just ready to stand up against what you've always been told and build a new tower, build something with the foundation that you had before. Instead of keeping that old foundation, you're going to build something stronger, something that doesn't lean, something that doesn't have the consequences of others when it gets struck and broke down, right? So there is something about that consequence. Like I said, I feel like it isn't a consequence that came necessarily from you specifically. Like I was talking about, it's not necessarily your behavior, but I also think that it may be the behavior of this belief, but it's not something that you were completely aware of previously, but you're ready to open your eyes to it. And even with justice too, you can see them blindfolded. So I think you're ready to open your eyes. You're ready to see the bigger picture of the consequence to this belief system that you've been following for so long, but it just isn't something that resonates with you anymore. And you're ready to make that shift and work against it. But let's keep going. Let's see what else there is. So wow, so many shifts coming in here. Very powerful as well. I think that this isn't a bad thing. I just think that it's going to be something that's gonna really open your eyes, and that's gonna be scary. It's really easy to keep the glasses on. It's really easy to keep things the way they were, what works, because it's worked for this long. Why shift it? Why change it? It's a lot harder to go against the grain. There also is a bit of uncertainty here because you do have the clouds. The clouds can talk about ambiguous, uncertain. It also can talk about that this isn't a black and white situation. It's not as easy to define the consequences that come from these actions, from these beliefs, and how they can be harmful to you, to others in your life. But yeah, we have the King of Wands also showing up here at the bottom. So we have the King of Wands showing up twice here. So like I said, there's something about needing to have a conversation and knowing that you have the leadership qualities within you to start shifting that conversation. You have a lot of power behind you, and your voice truly does matter, and it can really shift. And make something that feels really clouded start to become a lot more harmonious too, because we do have the 6, which represents harmony. So we have 6 showing up here as well as that king. So yeah, wow, okay, a lot of uplifting energy despite the chaos that it may feel like it is here. Let's keep going. So now that we have sort of what's happening and the general cards that we're going to pull, let's go ahead and see some information on what is coming in for advice for you at this time. So what advice do you have coming in from your spirit team? And feel free to invite them in right now if you'd like, but from your angels, your ancestors, from your spirit team, cosmic team, whatever, or you're just your higher self, and see what comes in here for advice on the situation and these unexpected changes. Okay, so we have blow showing up here. A lot of that air energy that I was talking about. We need to have a conversation, and it needs to be one that's very strong. You need to like really stand in your power, because that wind talks about communications. You're going to have a lot of voices coming in and out, and you need to be able to stand firm, but not so firm that you can't move around the words and find ways to kind of flow between them, flow with the wind, still make sure that conversation doesn't end up just becoming a block or like a brick wall. Find ways to come to common ground with someone so that you can build a new foundation up, because it's really hard to build a new foundation if one person's on the 3rd floor and you're at the ground floor, right? You've got to bring them back down. You've got to find that balance. So anyway, here we have blow with wind. It also says here, how can I deepen trust that my intuition knows the way? And I think you're going to intuitively also, like we were talking about, intuitively have these conversations as well. I think you can have like a pep talk with yourself in the mirror. I think you can have your notes ready to go, and all of those things are going to be great. But when it comes down to having these conversations with yourself, possibly in the mirror, with these people involved with this core belief, that it's going to take a lot of courage, but it's also going to take a lot of trust in yourself, and making sure people don't gaslight you back to the beliefs that you were personally subjected to for a really long time, or that you have to kind of still stand your ground, even if the conversation just never gets to common ground, that you still know where you want to be headed, whether that conversation ends up to being anything from the start. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, basically, even if the conversation never gets anywhere, that at the end of the day, you still know where you stand. And it may even take time to figure out what this shift is, what this core belief is. And like I said, this may happen over several months. So you may not be having these conversations right away. You may have to have that time to like figure this out. And I think that's going to come intuitively as well. Let's go ahead and pull another card here. So we're going to use the Sea Melodies card today, cards rather. So feel free to send your energy in. We're looking for some more advice for group 1 on this situation and how they can best handle this situation, these new shifts, and how to grow a better foundation that's stronger, and from beliefs that they now understand as their own. So group 1. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So we have direction, trust your inner compass. So again, a lot with the word trust, not just intuition, but trust. So trust your inner compass and find your bearings. So like I said, it might take you a little while to figure out your bearings. Try to figure out where this new foundation is even going to be built from. Like, sometimes we lose a belief, sometimes we lose a part of ourselves, or a part that we really thought was really important for the way that we've always grown up. And when that's gone, it's like, what fills that space? So it's going to take you a minute probably to figure out what's supposed to be there, and there's going to be a lot of questioning, confusion, maybe even frustration. But I do think that if you trust yourself and trust and even have the knowing that this is on its way in, that's going to help you find your bearings quicker, and also find a way to have your bearings even if it seems really chaotic. Because at the end of the day, you are the one that holds the compass, you're the one that holds the map, you're the one who knows how to construct this new space for yourself, and that's going to come from inner knowing and inner trust within yourself. So I'm going to pull one final card, and then we are going to, or maybe cards, and then we're going to go ahead and cast the charms on the cards and get even more information, see if this is a core belief, maybe it's something else entirely, and see even deeper messages. So let's go ahead and pull 2 more here for some advice, for affirmations for these changes. So, okay, definitely getting more of that information that this wasn't necessarily you. It says, let go of all you can't control. It takes a village, and build healthy habits. Wow, how powerful is that, right? But these may resonate differently. As always, you can always take time to see how the charms later resonate, how these images resonate with you. Take some time, pause if you need to, because as much as I can tell you what I am seeing, I think it's always great that we have a conversation together to see what comes up, as it's when we both co-create together in this space that's when you're going to find what you really need to see. But the thing that I was getting is it takes a village, right? That's why I was getting the generational side of it. It takes a whole village to build these habits, build these beliefs that you've had for a really long time, and it's something that you have to let go of control of. Let go of that this wasn't always something that was, it was something that maybe you followed for a long time, but that it's not something that you subjected yourself to maybe willingly. So yeah, anyway, we have let go of all you can't control. It takes a village, build healthy habits. But let's go ahead and deepen even further. So feel free to send your energy into the charms as we stir them up. 1. Kindred. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick some of these up. This one fell on the ground, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it and see if it also needed to drop here. We don't have any more clarity coming in on this tower moment. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can see a little bit more here. But we don't have anything else coming in on some of these top cards. I felt really pulled to just this wind card, so I dropped a lot of them there. We have the crown chakra showing up here with the wind, so definitely something maybe even deepening your trust with messages you've been getting from spirit guides already that they've been communicating to you. We have the smaller like wiener dog, so this can talk about something that takes maybe a longer amount of time to figure out, right? It's been lengthened. Then we also have another reason why I said that it's going to take a while to figure out your bearings, because again, we have the long journey of and this could even talk about like colonialism or something, but we do have the longer journey with this because, it took a really long time for wagons to get across the country, at least here in the USA, and it was an arduous journey. So with that in mind, it's just saying that to deepen your trust in what this shift is, understand the conversations that have been coming in, and that it's going to take maybe a long time to figure out those bearings, but I think that the journey is going to be well worth it. We also had around the clouds charm, the number 5. 5 talks about conflict. It can talk about change as well, big change and shifts. And I think it's interesting that each of these had a different charm fall upon them. So we have here at the darker part of the clouds, we have the inspirational charm. This talks about just feeling inspired or more buzzed about something. It also can talk about caution because of the color. So with those being the darker, deeper clouds, it can be just like to have caution with feeling inspired by this new tower moment. Like once it's come in, you're like, well, okay, now I'm ready to sit in this fire, sit in it, and it's inspired me to like just do my thing and like really put myself out there and speak my truth. But to get to this next cloud, to ascend beyond this tower moment, we have you're only seeing half of the picture. So I do think these conversations definitely need to be had so that you can get on common ground, because at the moment they're feeling a little off kilter. The other things that we have showing up here, we have 2 more charms. So we have right here between these 2 different ones, so the King of Wands or the King of Torches in this case, as well as Justice, we have the Selfless charm. So this has to be something that when you are doing this journey, that it has to be coming from a selfless place or coming from a place that it's to help serve others. It may be something, like I said, we had that colonial kind of moment happening here. So there could be shifts in that way, something more to do with society, helping for advocacy for others is what I'm getting there. And then we also have, for the last one, memories showing up here. So like I said, it had maybe something to do with deeper in the past, because we have the charm of memories. I always think of taking memories, taking snapshots, looking at old photographs. Maybe you can find some of these keys to unlock what this tower moment is about if you're feeling ready for it. But this also can talk about just taking a moment to enjoy the present moment, right? Sometimes as me when, wow, words, sometimes when I, as a person who likes to do photography, I sometimes can get so wrapped up in a event that I'm just using my phone or I'm on my camera constantly and not really taking the camera away and realizing that I'm in a present moment right now. Yes, the photos are beautiful to look at later, but I want to be present in the moment. So what can you start to look and dissect certain pictures and start realizing that in this moment, this is actually what you weren't seeing, what was behind the camera, right? What wasn't in frame is what I'm getting there. So yeah, wow, definitely take a second to pause if you need to and seek out some more information that may be coming in here. Like I said, I like to co-create with you and see what comes in. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if this is resonating, if you enjoyed me casting the charms on the cards, and anything else you want to let me know. Also be sure to like this video if you really liked it. It helps the channel so much, so thank you to everyone who's liked the video so far. I usually have something to hold, so I'm over here like, what do I hold at the end of this? But yeah, if you'd like to subscribe as well and join this Kindred Spirit community where I do all sorts of tarot readings like this one, then definitely check that out on my channel or subscribe if you've already been here for a few, for my timeless readings, weekly readings, monthly readings, and so much more. And you can also check out my Instagram where I can show off a lot of the different things that I do outside of this. So I have different offerings that I provide, like the spell paper and Yule solstice spell paper that I'm currently providing, as well as the snail mail readings. And then you can also just hang out with the community. I love to have conversations and just see what you guys are all about. I learned so much through tarot from you, so if you want to hang out there, then definitely check that out. But with all of that said, I hope you guys are, okay, because I know this is going to be quite a journey, but I think it's going to be well worth it in the end, to kind of exit the matrix in a way, exit this idea of what this tower was previously, and I think it's going to really be beneficial to you in the long run. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of Selenite, then this is the pile for you. We're going to go ahead and start looking into the unexpected changes that you have coming in so that you can expect them and brace for them. So we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as several different oracle decks, which I'll have listed down below in the description. And we're also going to be using the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. So if you are comfy, you got a blanket, some tea, some water, a nice snack, whatever makes you feel ready to go, we're going to go ahead and get started. So definitely send your energy in through time and space here now so we can really start diving in here. This must have been from the last pile, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this one over. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what comes in. Very strange that one showed up. We'll see if it shows up again, then I'll know that it was definitely for you. But let's see, Group 2, what do we need to know for Group 2 for unexpected changes that will be coming in within the next few months? So first off, we have the Devil as well as the Three of Torches. So here you are with the Devil. And then we also have the Three of Torches here. The Three of Torches has a lot to do with community, also knowing where you're going to start heading and actually making movement on something that you're inspired about. And maybe something that you're inspired about, because we have the Devil showing up here, is kind of breaking a habit. So I almost feel like the change, like, I know these are unexpected changes, but sometimes they're things that we've already been kind of thinking about in our minds, but we haven't started to see the expectations of what we thought were going to happen come through. So maybe you're almost creating this change. I feel like with the Devil has a lot to do with breaking your chains, breaking habits, breaking cycles that you've been stuck in for quite a while, that you've been kind of festering in. or breaking relationships possibly too that you've been in for a while that you just know aren't good for you. And maybe you've been at this outlook thinking, oh, maybe I could change, maybe I could shift that, maybe if I did this, maybe if I did that. And I think the change that's coming in is that there's going to either be something that comes in that you weren't expecting, in terms of like maybe a job changes, maybe the situation where you're living changes or something like that outside of your control, is going to make you have to start actually making a move, start actually shifting, creating a new change, a new shift yourself. So definitely want to see some more information here. So group 2, definitely send your energy in. So we also have the 3, so we have 2 3s showing up here. So we have the 3 of Pentacles and the 3 of Torches, or the 3 of Wands. So the 3 of Pentacles also talks about co-creating with other people, creating a community space where people can feel supported, right? So in this case, you've got like someone holding up all of these 3 different pentacles, and then you've got people onlooking. So there's something about seeing from a different perspective, letting other people see you from a different perspective, maybe giving you some advice and you following through on that advice if you feel like it calls to you. But there is something about almost even constructive criticism is what I'm getting here too. So maybe there's something about you that you haven't realized that you've been kind of stuck in this cycle, and you might have someone, a really close friend, someone you really trust, or just maybe the universe itself is going to start sending you these signals, right? This almost looks like a smoke signal. So I feel like they're going to be sending you these signals and start leading you where you're ready to go. Because with this 3 of Torches, they're just sitting there, and in the 2 of Torches, that's kind of what that sitting there energy is. But the 3 is about actually starting to get in a little ship and going across these waters, start actually diving into them, dabbling in this space. So I think you're ready to make shifts about things that are kind of hard, maybe even shadow work, looking deeper into yourself, looking through something. Maybe you're co-creating with a therapist in a space, or with someone, like I said, you really trust, but there is something about needing to create a space that you feel safe enough to and inspired enough to start making these shifts and changes within your life around habits, around cycles of yourself that need change. So I definitely want to start diving into this further. So let's go ahead and get some more information here. So definitely send your energy in. Let's see what else is coming in for you, group 2. Ooh, that just flew right out. Interesting that the first pile had the woman and this one got the man, although this is not necessarily gender specific, so this can just represent anyone that you kind of feel you see in this card, any person that this energy really resonates with. It doesn't necessarily have to be masculine, but in this case, it does represent more of the masculine qualities in society that we know of, at least. So here we are with 28, as well as the Ace of Hearts, or the Ace of Cups. But this is also just talks about a hardworking man in this case, or a hardworking person rather. So it's someone who is very hardworking. They are also at the very beginning stages of something too, right? They only have the axe. They don't have, and it's even like a stone axe that isn't like the best of quality. So what I'm thinking is, even though you're trying to make these changes and these shifts, maybe you don't feel like you have the resources to do that right now. Maybe you want to start making these changes, but you're like, okay, well, I need more money to be able to do that. I need a better job to be able to do that. I need, whatever that shift is that you're ready to create for yourself, or feel inspired to start creating. How you start going from where you're sitting here and looking at like, oh, I'm so inspired, I'm ready to start making this change, but I don't have the tools, I don't have the resources. So how do we start getting those resources? One, asking other people is going to be really helpful. Asking for more divine help could be really helpful, but also sometimes you just have to put in really hard work and start looking at the resources maybe you have and start seeing them from a different perspective, is what I'm getting here too, right? Because we talked with that 3 of Pentacles. It talks about seeing things from a different perspective. So when you get your friends involved with those people that you trust, they're going to be like, wait, you think that you don't have this, but maybe you actually do. Maybe it is actually available to you. So I think that there's going to be a change and a shift within you. Like I said, I feel like you want to start making these changes. So that's the part that isn't unexpected. But the unexpected change is that you're going to realize that maybe you actually already did have the resources available to you, and that it's going to take effort, it's going to take work, right? Using a dull saw to cut something, and I know because I've used a dull saw, but using a dull saw to cut through a piece of wood is going to take you far longer than just like some nice machinery. But it's going to, the effort that you're going to be putting in is going to be so much more worth it long term. And I feel like you're going through a change and a shift right now that you don't realize how impactful it's going to be until you've put in the effort. And you look back and you're going to see from that new perspective, and you're going to see yourself, like your future self's going to see your past self, and it's going to be like, wow, I did that. It was hard. I was at the bottom of the swampy lake, but I like rose up. I was that lotus at the end. So I'm feeling some really wonderful energy coming through there for you. But like I said, it's going to take effort. So what is some more of this effort? Okay, we have more friends at your disposal. Maybe they are your hidden resource here. We have the 10 of Cups. So you're going from the Ace of Cups, where it's just you being able to fulfill yourself, to the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is family, it's friends, it's feeling fulfilled from a full community, like a big community hug, if you like hugs, but you know what I mean. And then we have the 18 showing up here as well, which may resonate for each of you. But the dog talks about like an eternal companion, someone who's really loyal, that's very much there for you. So there are people that are available to you. Maybe you haven't built those resources with them yet. Maybe you're still building those friendships, building up that space with them. But if you have them already at your as someone who can support you, then definitely use that resource, right? I'm sure there's been many of times you've been there for them. So this is their moment to shine and be like, yes, I'm going to be that person for you. And I think it's interesting too that we have, and I hardly ever notice that in this card, but there's this little stick, right? Like a dog. I have a dog that loves to run after their ball. But they always come back. Or you hope that they always come back. Sometimes they don't with the ball, but you know what I mean? Like you have the, this little stick, like they're going to throw and play. So I think they want to help you continue to feel inspired in this space, because these also look like little sticks, these torches. So they kind of want to make sure, and the devil's even holding a torch. So they want to be able to help hold you through this, to almost like, right, they're going to gently hold you in this space and make sure you still feel inspired on this goal. Maybe even follow you with it. Maybe it's something they also needed to work on within themselves, a change that they want to start creating in their life. And maybe you're going to work together, because there's so much 3 energy, which talks about community, working together, co-creating together. So I just think that in this space, I think that a lot of it's going to come through and actually start happening and having actual movement when you have the help of others that you can trust and work with this space within, because they're also working on similar things. Maybe that's even by searching out a support group or something like that as well. So now that we have quite a lot of the energy of what this is kind of about, this change that is both unexpected in some ways, like the resources that are available to you, but less expected in other ways, and that I feel like you already kind of knew you needed this change. Let's see some advice coming in. Wow, that came out so fast. Some advice coming in from your spirit team or your higher self. So in this case, we have Dig Prairie Dog. It says, what do I want to carve out space for in my life? Carving out, right? It's like taking a scoop out of something, right? So you can fill it with something new. So we have the prairie dog, which is another dog, by the way. Dogs love to, carve out little holes in the ground, or they like to almost stand their ground by they have like these oils in their feet. That's why they like kick up a bunch of dirt, not only to look aggressive or to be like, this is my land, but it's also so that they can biologically stand their ground. So I feel like in this case, you're ready to make like lasting change, that you're creating lasting change, that you're creating lasting new habits. So I think that comes from, right, we're going to dig out a scoop in something, but if we don't fill it with something else, then you're not going to actually get any momentum there, right? So say I was trying to, and I've used this example before, but basically there's been times, right, where I'm on my phone way too often when I wake up and when I go to bed. So instead of just being like, okay, I'm going to stop doing that, and that's that, that just doesn't really create lasting change. You need something to fill that space and that time with. So in this case, if I wanted to stop being on my phone or start changing that and shifting it to something else, then I would have to find something to fill that space, right? You can't just dig a hole and not refill it and repot it with something new. So what are you going to repot it with? What's this new flower that you want to grow? What's this new thing that you want to grow? In my case, I took up reading before I go to bed. I try to read before I go to bed instead of just being on my phone. I'm not always great at it, but it does create more lasting change the more you work at it. It also takes about 28 days or a month to actually create a habit on a biological level. So it's definitely going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take, right, that axe and everything, with the digging, with the actual asking for help. But that's going to help create lasting change because you're giving yourself resources to refill that space you scooped out. So I was just reading on the guidebook on this one because I actually haven't gotten the prairie dog before, and I'll go ahead and put this up here in case you want to pause and read it. Hopefully you can read everything there, but there's so much in here about creating with a community, how even prairie dogs are, and it says here, prairie dogs are communal creatures. For millennia, humans have come together for protection, survival, education, governance, companionship, celebration, affection. We create neighborhoods to live in. And then it talks about over here that no matter what, you can always start from scratch, but consider inviting your community to join in with you when it comes to what you're now creating and creating these shifts and changes in what you're digging up and what you're prioritizing so that you can grow something new. So I just thought that was really cool. This totally makes sense with all of the cards that you've been getting. So what do you want to start prioritizing in your life? What is this new flower that you're ready to grow versus letting that dirt sort of just sit and fester that you're ready to dig out? So yeah, I just thought that was really cool that those were all coming in here for your messages. But let's go ahead and see a little bit deeper. So group, you got 2 here, I think. So we have generosity. What good is treasure if you keep it to yourself? Again, making sure that other people get to come with you. And then turbulence. The mind is murky and rough waters. So, okay, I really think that going to a support group, going to find friends that you can work with, working with a therapist, working with someone who can understand where you've been or understand where you're wanting to go and coming along with you is going to be really important there with these 2 cards. So yeah, okay, we're going to pull one more, and then I'm going to do something that I haven't normally done with my charms on my channel. I haven't actually done it at all on my channel, but I do it for myself quite often, is instead of just casting with all the cards away, I'm going to cast them on top of the cards this time and see how the imagery lines up. You can just read the charms on their own if you want, but I'm going to read them in relation to the cards. So let's go ahead and see an affirmation before we do that. So group 2 here. What do you need to know for an affirmation, group 2? All right, so we got 3. So it says here, even baby steps are steps forward. Be a little bolder and embrace your feelings. Wow. Okay. So this doesn't have to happen super fast, right? Like boulders and big mountains, they are bold, right? You come across them on a flat road, you're going to see them, but they take a lot of time, right? Tectonic plates, thousands of years, mountain grows. But it's going to take a really long time to get there. But like I said, that effort is going to be paying off in the long term. There you are, so you can actually see them. But embrace your feelings. The baby steps are still steps forward, and be a little bolder. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and set these down, and then we're going to go ahead and cast on the board. And if you're enjoying this reading so far, feel free to give this video a like. It really does help this channel so much, and just lets me know that you're enjoying the reading. But let's go ahead and keep diving in. Okay, so we had quite a few knockouts, so I'm going to go ahead and pick those up first, and then we are going to go ahead and look at what we dropped here. So embrace your feelings fell upside down on top of this devil card. So it's making me think that, right, it just moved into your psyche, into your head. So it's about starting to embrace your feelings and not just feeling them from like a mental state and being like overwhelmed or anxiety or something, but finding a way to really feel your emotions, let them explore them a little bit to see what new emotions you want to come in or how to flow through your emotions. Because if we keep emotions locked in, they become like this toxic, festering thing that can never really heal. So definitely let your emotions come out. But I'm going to zoom you in so we can really see a little bit more that's here. Okay, hopefully you can see all of them there. There's none of them hanging out here, so you don't have to worry about that. But I'm going to just kind of work across. So over here on your loyal dog or your friends, we have the treble clef. So this talks about keeping time, keeping beat, and also everyone being on the same page, right? When you're playing music, you can have different types of clefs. So in this case, it's finding a melody with someone, getting on the same page with someone, because I feel like maybe they aren't on the same page. Maybe you haven't let them know about this situation, and this is about you starting to open up that dialogue. We also have the flamingo, so this is about finding balance, but also it's making me think of those baby steps, because a lot of flamingos, and it's also making me think of like great blue herons. They stand still in water for a very long time before they can make their next step or make their strike on the thing they've been waiting for in the water that they're hunting. So in this case, like, I feel like you're just having to wait it out. But when you start making those small steps, when you start actually having this melody come forward, when you start actually having these conversations come forward, they're going to actually be really wonderful conversations, because you do have luck on your side, as we have the little tiny ladybug charm. This also is an earring, which makes me think of like, you know, it's lucky that you have friends to listen to what you need to say and really be there for you, or friends or family, or that you're going to start creating that space for yourself by seeking those spaces out, right? Maybe you haven't met them yet, but there is something about luck coming in, about having someone really listen. And that even comes in there with that same charm. Other things we have coming in here, we have the overwhelmed charm. So maybe you're feeling overwhelmed about what to start actually carving out, because it seems like you've already reflected on this, because we do have the reflection charm. But I feel like you're not really sure where to start digging, because this is the overwhelmed charm, where I do have one charm where it's, you know, this is like a regular bobby pin. This is overwhelmed, overstretched. And it even can be talking about, that's why you need to carve out that space, because you're feeling overwhelmed. You need to like give yourself some new space. And maybe you feel like with this no cash value, this can talk about money, but it does make me think of like no cash value, or you feel like maybe there's no value in what you're doing. Like you're like, okay, yeah, I could do that, but is it really going to make any change? Is it really going to matter in the big grand scheme of the entire universe? Because this is the universe charm, and it is. It's going to help you balance, because we have two balance charms coming up here with Libra and the balancing flamingo over there. So we have Libra. It also says on the other side, charming. So there you are. Libra's coming in with this prairie dog. Maybe there's a Libra in your life that's going to help you along. You also have the silver heart. This talks about someone who's very hearty, or you have a heart that is very, like, it's not necessarily made of gold in that way, but it's like that loyal heart. Like, they're going to be through even when you're not your shiniest, when you're not like, you know, you're not shiny gold, but you're a person, you're a human, you have flaws, you have, you know, parts of yourself that aren't always easy, but they're there to listen, they're there to help you out, and you're going to start listening and finding the value in yourself in this process as well. We do have under generosity, what is good treasure if you keep it to yourself. We have the angel or fae charm, so there could be some divine help happening there, helping you open this space up to other people. We have the be a little bit bolder, falling on top of the person here, of the man, or just another person in general. The no cash value is making me think again of the resources that maybe you feel like there's no value in the resources that you have around you, but that's going to be starting to shift, because here on the Three of Pentacles, you have two amazing resources where you feel like there's no value in the tools that you have. There's going to be a lot of value in the tools that they provide, because we have two tools showing up here. One of the logic charm of the key, so this is a logical key, this is someone giving you a logical step forward, and then you have the hammer, so someone's ready to help like do it up. You know, you've got the tools in them. They can be your help. They can be that space for you. And they're going to provide you the tools, especially if you're going into a space of like actual healing. So like going to clubs or going to those types of resources outside of yourself that's a community space. Therapy, anything like that. I feel like they're going to be able to give you those tools to actually move yourself forward where you weren't really sure where to go before. So yeah, lots of charms here. Definitely take your time. Feel free, and I'll go ahead and zoom out just a smidge here, but feel free to take your time and look at this. Pause if you need to. See what comes through for you. These may be more literal, or there may be other messages coming in, but definitely take your time. Feel free to see what sits here for you. But I'm going to go ahead and close off the reading. If you enjoyed this reading, if you enjoyed me casting the charms, if you have other ideas or anything else you want to comment on, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I love to hear your guys' thoughts. Also, be sure to like this video if you really did like it. I really do appreciate it so much. And if you would like to see the other readings that I provide on this channel for love, for career, spirituality, for friendship readings, and so much more, then definitely feel free and consider subscribing to this channel and seeing what else I provide as the weeks go on. I would love to have you within this space of kindred spirits. And if you would also like to support this channel even further, if you would like to support not only myself but also you through the snail mail readings that I provide, as well as the other offerings for spell and ritual paper that is eco-friendly and really wonderful for the environment and for yourself, for your magic that you create, then definitely check those out down below in the description, or check out my Instagram where you can see all the different offerings I provide, but also just seeing what other magic I get up to, my more personal sides of my life and other things like that. So if you want to see any or all of that will be listed down below. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. I really do wish the best on these communities that you're going to be kind of diving into and these new inspired changes. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 3, if you've decided to choose this amethyst cluster, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down right here for you so you can see it during your reading today, as we're going to be looking into the unexpected changes on their way in and how you can stand within them. So we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as several different oracle decks, which I'll have listed down below in the description. We are also going to be using the cosmic slumber tarot. So if you are ready, if you're settled, if you have a cup of tea, a nice blanket, if you're cozy or just feeling ready to go, then feel free to get settled and we'll get started. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space here now as we look into the changes on their way in within these next few months, and how you can stand within them. So group 3 here. What do we need to know for these changes coming in for group 3? Group 3. Group 3, what changes are coming in? Unexpected shifts, transformations on their way in for you that we need to know of. The deck is definitely taking its time. So there's definitely, there we are. So here we are with the Princess of Pentacles first off. What I was trying to say, though, is that I just felt like it was taking its time, almost in, like, the idea that this change is taking its time. Like, it felt like it mattered. So anyway, here we are with the Princess of Pentacles, which is something that definitely can take time, because we have here, she's almost kind of pregnant in this way, so it's something that has, like, a gestational period. It's going to take time. As of right now when I'm filming, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are heading towards winter. So winter is like this secret time where we always think like nothing's happening, but in this case I feel like there's a lot more happening under the surface, right? When we think about nature, we're not seeing a lot during the winter that's happening under the surface with our human eyes, but we know that there are seeds starting to get ready to go, that we know that things are starting to awaken in other ways. So I feel like this is a change that's going to take time and maybe isn't going to come in all at once. It's not going to be like abrupt, but I do think that it is something that is going to make really subtle shifts that grow to become something that is, like, when you look back, you're gonna see how much change really was transpiring. But let's keep going. So group 3. What else do we need to know with this Princess of Pentacles? Okay, so we also have the Chariot showing up here. So the Chariot showing up. The Chariot does talk about change, but in this case, it talks about like I'm almost getting like force with this, like make sure not to force it is what I just heard. Like I feel like you maybe are trying to make something happen that isn't ready yet, that you're almost like, maybe you even chose this because you're like, ooh, okay, change, yes, I want some change, I'm ready for change, but I feel like maybe you weren't actually as ready as you thought, or it's just going to be more subtle than you thought. We also have this night sky, which makes me think again that this change is going to be happening in a slower pace. But yeah, let's see some more information, because the Chariot can be talking about something else as well. So let's see what else there is. Definitely send your energy in. Okay, so we had one flip up over here. All right, there they are. So we had the 7 of Swords and the 2 of Swords. So I'm going to take both out, but we'll see how they both resonate for you. Maybe one or the other. But we have the 2 of Swords as well as the 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords talks about ready, like holding... almost like we're getting like this feeling. Okay, let me try to regroup here. So we have here the 2 of Swords. The 2 of Swords talks about a decision, making even maybe a blind decision very quickly, very fast. And like I said, you're trying to make something happen that's going to happen too quickly. But the 7 of Swords talks about something, I almost feel like the universe isn't ready to reveal it all, because it can talk about secrecy. It can talk about being a little bit like keeping, a poker face on, right? They're trying to hold the universe is only seeing what's right here on the clouds on the surface. This is what's happening underneath the surface. So there's a lot about secrecy here, but not in like someone's cheating on you or something like big like that. I feel like it's more so like, I almost feel like your spirit guides or your guides are like, okay, we have something cooking for you, but you're gonna have to wait it out. So yes, you can still, in like the more earthly plane, I guess, you can start working towards your goals and you can start trying to make them happen, but don't force anything. You can still be going with the flow. You can still be using your own personal power to try to make things happen and manifest in your life that you are envisioning. But there is something that you're kind of blind to right now, a decision that's maybe going to blindside you. But I also think that there's just stuff that you aren't ready to unpack, or that it's going to take a lot of time for it to reveal itself fully to you. And I'm even getting that with the Princess of Pentacles here, because the Princess, you can even see like there's little hidden creatures and like little helpers all around her, and they're being highlighted. And I wonder how many there are. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pink spots. And then you've got the pink on her. So there is something about 7, maybe 7 months. 7 could be maybe something to do with a birthday. 7 could be just really important to you in some way like that. But I just think that 7 showing up in here, that like it's going to take 7 months, 7 weeks, but it's going to take time. It has a gestational period. So try not to force it. So these changes are going to be very subtle. It's not going to be this huge big thing. So yeah, before I keep babbling on that part of it, I really do want to get some more information before we keep going. So definitely let's just start looking in. So maybe some more clarity on the 7 of Swords, maybe why we can't see everything just here yet. We personally just had at least when I'm filming this, a lunar eclipse. So there may be something about the eclipse energy of like a portal just beginning to open for you. And then we have the ship. So the ship can talk about a very long journey, right? Because they, especially like these types of ships or you're rowing and everything, it's going to take a long journey to get there. Rough seas. So I think that you're capable of the change that's coming in, and it's going to be, like I said, something you look back on and you're like, wow, that was a really big, crazy journey, more subtle than I thought, but you're going to see the whole picture. The other things that we have here with the ship coming in, I could talk about adventure. So this can be travel as well. Maybe the change that's coming in has something to do with traveling. Maybe you have to wait, especially because the Chariot also can talk about travel. So maybe it's just something that's going to take time to be able to travel. Maybe you have to wait 7 weeks, 7 months before you can actually do this big change and big shift. Maybe it's something you're already aware about, that you're like, okay, I really want this shift. I really want it to happen, but maybe it's going to happen slower than you thought. So don't try to make this ship go any faster, because you're going to come across much deeper seas, it's like gears, right? You're trying to grind gears is what I'm getting. So then we have the 3 showing up here. So 3 can talk about co-creating. It can talk about community. It talks about creativity. And then we also have the 10 of Swords. So again, it's something about what's above the surface is you're like, okay, spirit guides, let's do this. Okay, I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to get on this boat. I'm going to do the stuff. It's going to be happening. This is what I want. This is the change I want. I'm going to just make it happen. But then below the surface, you have the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords talks about feeling kind of stabbed in the back. It can feel very just overwhelming, a lot of mental anguish that just really didn't need to happen. So that's what we have coming in here with that. So I feel like your biggest change that is unexpected is almost that this change isn't ready to manifest. So let's see what else there is for you, group 3. Interesting that you chose group 3 as well and then got that 3. So let's see. Then we also have the snake. We have 7 showing up again. So we have the 7 of Swords, the 7 that was coming in here with the Princess of Pentacles, and then we have 7 again. The 7 also has kind of that lunar eclipse energy again in the background, especially since we just had a partial lunar eclipse. So there may be something that you're shedding through this change, maybe shedding the idea of taking control of something, having to be in control, because we also have the Queen of Wands, who is very much in control. That's what's happening down here, is very much in control, but the Princess of Pentacles is possibly less in control, but she is much more studious. She takes her time. She really analyzes the whole situation and tries to make the best step forward. So I just think you're trying to make this happen too quickly and too fast, and it's time to shed that belief that things need to happen quickly for a transformation to occur, and I'm almost getting like it's gonna like bite you in the butt because of that, like the snake energy, right? They're gonna like. So now that we kind of know the situation, right, we already know what's happening, let's go ahead and get some advice from especially since we have a lot having to do with like the energy of the universe, the energy of your higher self, the energies that are coming in from your cosmic team, all kind of being like blindsiding you at the moment, being like, okay, we need to slow down, we need to not give you all the information yet. It needs to unveil itself much slower than you're trying to press it. So let's see if they have any advice for you beyond that, coming in on these new changes coming in for you over these course of possibly 7 weeks, 7 months, something to do with 7. Okay, so we also have Soothe. Am I receiving peace? So they're kind of like slowing you down. Really, I'm getting that because we had that crazy water, and then we have this really soothing river. And then also, this is making me think of spirit guides, because I personally think of like birds as showing a lot of signs for me personally, but that may resonate differently. So we have the river, Soothe. Am I receiving peace? This is also within the honoring emotions suit as well, because these have different color codes for each of the suits. So this is the honoring your emotions, honoring your feelings as well. And it's kind of matching the same color too. So I feel like they're almost blindsiding you, because you have like this huge vision board, you're seeing everything, you know what you want, you're trying to go after it, and you're going to have these unexpected reasons why it's not happening and it's not manifesting, and it's just like those gears. But with this, it's telling me that maybe it's because you haven't taken the time to really honor your feelings on it. Maybe it's because it needs to unfold differently than you had first expected, and maybe that's why they're unexpected changes, because you need to shed this belief that you need to be in control for this to go the way that you had expected. Because even with the 2 of swords here, the swords can also showcase to us that no matter which way you're going to go, and right there even have this like eclipse energy here too, but no matter which way you go, you're going to make the right decision. So it's like you already know the decision you want, but you're not honoring your feelings enough to see it fully, right? Like you're only seeing one half of it. You're not seeing the full picture yet. The other thing that I'm getting with the river card here too is it's just telling us that like maybe the reason you want to move forward so quickly is maybe you're feeling less trustful of the universe, feeling less trustful of a grander plan for you, if that's something you believe in. But I feel like there's like almost this hurt, right? That you're trying to soothe or heal yourself in some way. The other thing about a river is it gives you time to be peaceful, takes you to a space where you can really stand in the river and feel the water flow around you. So it's about expressing, embracing your emotions, embracing your intuition, embracing that things don't have to happen quickly for them to be valid or true. So maybe take some time to just slow down and see what kind of unlocks in that space, because this is your advice card, right? So maybe they're saying like there's some things that you can only see when you slow down. But let's go ahead and see just a little bit more here. So group three, what else is coming in here from the higher self, the universe, source, spirit guides, all that kind of stuff on group 3 for advice coming in for all of this new change. I kind of feel like there's one more, so I'm going to try to see if another one wants to come through. Group 3. You know what? Maybe it's just the one. Let me give it one more shuffle here. Nope, I think it's just the one, so we're going to just take this one card here. Of course, we got breathe. Maybe that's why I felt like we needed another one, right? Like I felt like you're almost like, okay, yeah, I know I need that, but maybe this is all you really need, is the idea of breathe, break free. It says break from beneath the water surface and soar up beyond the turquoise sea. And we have like a turquoise sea here, and then we have that bird, which I felt was really important. We also have a lot of birds showing up here, so there's something about birds. But yeah, breathe, come up, make time to breathe. This also makes me think of the earthworm card from the same deck. So it's about coming up to breathe, coming up for air. But in this case, it's that you can really be present in life. Beautiful. So yeah, the changes that are coming in for you are a lot more subtle, a lot less intense, but just as impactful and revealing. So I'm going to go ahead and cast the charms. Actually, wait, just kidding. We're going to cast the charms here in a moment, but I was going to first pull you some of these cards, and then we'll cast the charms. But what I wanted to tell you about the charms, before I get ahead of myself here, is that I'm going to actually cast them on the cards. And this is something I do quite a lot for myself, but I don't actually do it on this channel because I wasn't sure if the camera angles were going to work, if you're going to actually be able to see them. So any constructive criticism down below would be super helpful. But we're going to do that here today, so let me know your thoughts. But first, we're going to see what you have for an affirmation coming in for advice on all of these changes. So we have a few different ones showing up here. We have the first two that came up upright was let's try again and dive into the deep. And then we also have here, there you go, now you can see them. So dive into the deep and let's try again. But then we also have here, don't forget to play and pause in the stillness. So see how those resonate for you. I feel like they always say a lot more than I could say. So we'll see how that kind of comes in. Dive into the deep made me think of the ship. The let's try again made me think of the, going down, actually the shedding card. Don't forget to play makes me think of the playful energy of all these creatures, and then pause in the stillness makes me think of the river. So I'm going to set those there, but let's go ahead and dive into the charms. Definitely feel free to send your energy into them, and we are going to go ahead and get started. Wow, I give you guys so many charms, so I may not hit every single one, but I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. None of them fell on this card, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of crop that one off. But yeah, okay, so we have the letter V showing up here, the spring, the tortoise shell, and then here we have the ornament. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up the ones that fell upside down here and see what really comes in. The number 13, which represents transformation, so slow transformation. Okay, there's a lot here. Okay, So the reason why it may be not coming in as fast as you thought is we do have the ancestor charm showing up here, cycles, and then the key to your heart, and it's almost being kind of clasped off at this time. So I feel like they have something that they want to give you. They have something, some wisdom to like give to you, but it's just going to take time, and you're going to have to wait, because we also have the charm of the clothesline. So this makes me think of like putting something up to dry and not being able to, you can't make it dry any faster. We also have the long journey charm coming up here. This also came up in a couple of the other piles, but we have the long journey. We also have the treble clef, so this could talk about music, maybe something that could be soothing for you, or that it is something that almost maybe like I'm seeing more so that you're getting like maybe signs and signals from these subtle changes coming in from music. So if you do anything like shufflemancy or something like that, that could be definitely something to look into. And then you got these 3 charms coming together here on the snake as well. So this talks about, and it almost looks like a snake, this talks about the universe working in your favor, but it's going to take time. I feel like I've said that so many times for you guys, but it's going to come in its small increments. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then heading towards 7 here. So there's a silver lining on its way in, and it says, "Thou shalt not kill." So this is like, this is talking about like not killing your vibe or not like stepping on your toes. So you may feel like it's taking ages. And the other thing, wait, you know what I'm really getting from this is they have a little bow and arrow, and hopefully you can see this. There's like a little boy and a little girl, or 2 little people kind of trying to shoot down this little bird. And we have this bird and all these birds. So I feel like, right, just listen to what they have to say. It's going to be your silver lining. Wow, that gave me chills. So hopefully that resonated with some of you. Other charms coming in, because I'm going to pick, oh my goodness, we got the little swallow as well. So there are so many birds showing up here. If you guys work with birds, or maybe you've never worked with birds before, maybe you should start looking at the birds in your dreams, in your space, if you bird watch or something like that. Just see what's coming in with birds. Maybe even something from like a childhood project, maybe you learned about birds or something like that, because we have like the childhood charm. We also have the charm coming in here with the making a decision. You have the sneaky charm. So this is about kind of trying to sneak around a situation, because a knight in chess can move around a piece. But again, the sneaky behavior isn't really gonna benefit you long term. I think it's interesting too that we have kind of like this big wave happening in this one. It's the 2 brothers charm. I also call it the illusion charm. So this is like an illusion. So there's something about, I almost feel like if you go to water, and I feel like you're actually being called, maybe if you can, if it's accessible to you, taking a bath, taking a shower, getting in water, like actually going to a lake, a river, a place of natural water, maybe even the ocean, whatever really works for you. But I just feel like you're gonna get, and it's maybe even something to do with a memory with water, that's something that's going to be shifting and changing. But because we have like the capture charm, so this talks about memories, capturing memories, taking pictures, being in the moment. But yeah, I just feel like there's something about like that's where things are going to start to get unlocked, where that illusion is going to lift, that veil is going to lift. You're going to actually be able to see things, but you're going to have to take like some meditational experience with water that's going to be really useful and helpful for you to connect with the bigger overarching message here of that bigger picture you can't see yet. You also got the tortoise shell showing up here, so this is taking things slower, and you have it on the chariot, all about trying to take things fast. There's also the spring charm and the V. So, and usually I think of this as like literally springing forward, but this is maybe making me think more so, like, yes, you want to spring forward and take things slower. We've already kind of talked about that, but it's making me think of that 7 weeks or 7 months from now in spring, is that when this is going to actually manifest, or that you're actually going to make it to your destination, if that makes sense. It's going to be a longer journey than like a month. Something about V is showing up here with the letter V. You also have the number 13, like I talked about, transformation. It also represents the death card. So again, transformation happening in that way, of like a rebirth. And then we have the charm of feeling kind of cornered or cut off from the full picture, right? Because you're only seeing 3 pieces and there's still more pieces to see. Yeah, there's definitely something about an illusion, something needing to be lifted, something that you're going to start seeing, but it's going to come in small little increments. So just really, the biggest advice I have for you guys is really take time to listen to the messages coming in for you. Definitely through birds, through your ancestral work, or just your own inner knowing, because I think that instead of trying to rush things with action, I think that intuition and trust are going to be more so helpful with these changes and subtle changes that are going to come in, that you're going to look back like possibly 7 months, 7 weeks from now in the spring, and you're going to start to see where that actually made a huge overarching shift and change, but it wasn't in one big explosive shift, but rather in subtle, gentle ones. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading here with me today. If you did, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below, as well as like this video. I really, truly appreciate it. Also, if you are new, feel free to subscribe and join the Kindred Spirits here in this community and see the other monthly, timeless, and 2-week readings that I put out. If you would like to support me even further and support yourself, then feel free to check out the offerings that I have. I have them all listed down below, as well as on my Instagram for snail mail readings and Yule spell paper. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and bye.